Hi, my name is Costango, a sophomore at the University of Delaware, and you're listening to Obscure but Phenomenal Radio. If you were to look at any of my music playlists, you'd find groups like Queen, Bread, Radiohead, The Smiths, Fleetwood Mac, and The Beatles, to name a few. Now, what do all of these groups have in common? Well, one, they're all rock bands, and mainstream ones at that, and two, all of these groups are almost exclusively white. While their race may not seem that important to mention, I found it to be interesting considering the inception of rock music is credited to black artists. Musicians such as Little Richard and Chuck Berry are popular black artists credited for rock's formation, but an unsung pioneer of rock is none other than Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Sister Rosetta Tharpe is known as the godmother of rock and roll, was a singer, songwriter, and guitarist, rose to prominence in the 1930s and 40s, and combined gospel and blues with electric guitar, which is considered to be the origins of the rock sound. But Sister Rosetta's origins began in Cotton Plant, Arkansas in 1915. On March 20th, 1915, Rosetta was born Rosetta Newman to parents Katie Bell Newman and Willis Atkins. Both of her parents were cotton pickers, but her mother was an active participant in the Church of God in Christ. She was an evangelist, singer, and mandolin player. Because of her mother's participation in the church as well as her musical abilities, at the age of 4, Rosetta was playing guitar and singing gospel in the church, and by 6, she was performing a mix of gospel and secular music with her mother. Her and her mother would go city to city and perform, leading to Rosetta's popularity as her guitar playing was unique as well as her style of singing. Rosetta moved to New York in the mid-1930s to spread her talents. In 1934, she married her first husband, a minister by the name of Thomas A. Tharpe, whose last name she would use as her official stage name. By 1938, she was signed to Decca Records, where she would release several hits, cementing herself as not only the gospel superstar she was known as, but an artist with an entirely unique sound, which we would now consider rock due to her guitar playing. In 1973, Tharpe died of a stroke, but her music and influence continue years after her death. Her songs have been recorded by Elvis. Johnny Cash has noted her as a great inspiration to him. In 1998, the U.S. Postal Service issued a Rosetta Tharpe postage stamp. In 2003, the album Shout Sister Shout, a tribute to Sister Rosetta Tharpe, was released with versions of Tharpe's songs performed by female artists including Maria Muldaur, Odetta, and Marsha Ball. She was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2012, and more recently, she was portrayed by singer Yola in the 2022 movie Elvis, and even featured on Beyoncé's country-inspired album Cowboy Carter in 2024. There is no doubt that Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the godmother and pioneer of rock and roll, is not just an obscure figure, but a phenomenal one as well.